Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the AncientCricsPodcast mini-series. I'm your host, Crystal.
And I'm Savy. And today we're going to dive a little more deeper of Joan of Arc. We briefly talked about Joan of Arc in our Witch podcast, and today we're just going to dive a little more deeper.
So, who was Joan of Arc?
Joan of Arc was a 17-year-old girl who joined the French army and eventually led them to victory because she heard voices saying she had to. With convincing Prince Charles to do so. Then, at the age of 19, she was captured by the enemies with a surprise attack as she was leading an army to take back Paris. Then, when she was captured, they pressed some charges and then they burned her at the stake.
So, just to say all the background information about Joan of Arc, she was born in 1412 in France in this village called Domremy. Domremy. Yeah. And then it was when she was 13 years old, she started to hear voices from God. And well, she believed that it was God. And she believed that she was under divine guidance. And it was when she was 17 years old when she heard from God to saying that she had to go join the army.
Mm-hmm.
So she went to, where did she go to? She went to Bacular and asked to join the Dolphin to, why are you laughing like that?
Dolphins!
No, Dolphin. And back then it was Dolphin Charles who was like the prince. And then she requested to join the army from him, but he said no because she was a girl and she had
They didn't know she was a girl yet. She was like dressed up as a boy, but she had no military work. She never did anything for the military, so that was her decline.
But then years later, I think it was just a year later, but Dolphin Charles said, okay, you can join the army because she has gained respect from people.
Which is like amazing because he wasn't like, oh, you can't do this because of your military work. And she didn't reply back to, well, I'm hearing these voices in my head saying I have to. She just was like, okay, I understand. Maybe I got it wrong. Quiet. And he was like, interesting. Okay.
Yes. And then she led the army into victory. And that's how Dolphin Charles gained fame.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why he became the king of France.
And after Joan of Arc won the war, like led the French army to victory, she started to gain some more power and respect in like the military with Prince Charles, and started gaining a little more power every time she led more armies to gain more land, and some people started to fear her power.
Yes. So all this happened in 1429. A lot of things happened. Another thing that happened in 1429 is King Charles, raises Joan, her parents, and her brother's nobility status.
Ooh. So did her parents not tell him that she was a girl?
Not sure, but I think he knew that she was a girl.
I'm not
okay. Fast forward. Later on, she led more wars, more victories, all that. But in 1430, she was captured by the Burgundians. You want to tell us what happened to her and her trials, her accusation, and all that?
So she was talking to King Charles, saying how they had the strength to win back Paris. So the enemies heard this and weren't okay with how much power she was getting. So they did a surprise attack as she was leading her army to Paris and captured her. Then they realized that she was a girl. So first off, they were like, "Wow, you are not allowed to be doing this right now. You can't. You're supposed to be like a man." So they charged that she was a girl. They also charged that she was wearing boys' clothing because that's illegal back then. And then they accused her of being a witch, which we've said in our witch trial, witch podcast, because she was a girl, and a girl can't lead a army to victory, which is stupid. So the trial started to build more and more as they found evidence. They convinced her to sign some papers to send to King Charles, and he was still like, "I'm not gonna kill her because she deserves freedom because she led our kingdom to victory." And they weren't too happy about that because trials started to drop more and more. So then they're like, we gotta we gotta do something about her. So they decided to burn her at the stake, not food. They just strapped her to a pole and burned her.
I think we all know what state that we're talking about. But do you want to tell us what Charles did after like 20 years?
Yeah, so 20, 30 years after her death, her fame and popularity started to build more because King Charles started ordering some investigations into Joan of Arc's death trials, and he realized that there shouldn't she shouldn't have gone down like this, and finally freed Joan of Arc's name into all the negative things that have happened, and with that, her popularity became to grow even more and power.
And then, like 500 years later, in 1920-ish, Pope Benedict the 15th makes Joan of Arc a saint, and then she becomes a saint officially. Okay, no. And then that's how she became the national heroine of France. You want to recap? Should we recap?
Yeah, you should do the recap.
So, 1412, Joan of Arc was born in France, Domremy, in a village farm.
Mm-hmm.
And then 1425, so she was young.
Yes, young.
She hears from God.
13.
Yeah, when she was 13 and 17, she goes up to Dauphin Charles, asking that she wants to join the army. He says no at first, but then later on she gains respect, and then he says yes. And she led France into victory, and that's how she gained more fame. And
People didn't like it because she got more powerful with her fame.
but 1429 was when she did she do? No, Charles became the king, and she gained more fame, more power, and her
enemies did not like that. They wanted to get rid of her.
So and her social status got higher.
Yep.
And then 1430, she got captured by the Burgundians and was burned at the stake. 1431,
at the age of 19,
very young. And 1450,
yep, King Charles cleared her name and she became a saint
in 1920. That's when she officially became a saint. Anyways, thanks for watching our video.
Hope that you like and subscribe, and maybe talk to me and Crystal if you want to hear some more fun little podcasts.
Make sure to check out all our videos, or some of our videos. And thanks for watching.
Bye!